Good evening again, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news, bits, rumors, ins and outs, anything and everything wrestling. As you know, we cover it. First and foremost, we want to thank our YouTube audience and the new monetized feature. If you haven't noticed that on YouTube, it allows us to start gaining revenue income for what we do. For every $100 earned through AdSense, which is the YouTube method of advertisement, they will mail us a check the following month it reaches 100 or better. So we want to thank all of our audience for that and encourage you to visit this video as well as every other video at youtube.com/CWE Company. And we still haven't updated it yet, but WrestleTalkShow.webs.com is the show's website where you can interact with the online forum, post a review, and if you'd like to, click support the show link, and anything you can contribute would be helpful. As we always say, the next best thing to supporting the show financially is word of mouth. Sometimes better than actually supporting the show is word of mouth. It's the reason we have 57 subscribers and over 10,000 hits to all of our videos on our websites. Shout out to our top two in the last 24 hours. Our top two place where we get our most traffic is the United States, obviously, which makes up 80% of our audience, and the United Kingdom, which made up 20% of our audience in the last 24 hours. But without further ado, let's get into this week, or let's catch you up on from August 25th, when our last show was, to currently. And we'll start off, as we always do, with our wrestling ratings and show news. TNA Impact for August 25th, 2011 scored a 1.2 cable rating. WWE SmackDown for August 26th, 2011 scored a 1.77, almost a 2.0, but I guess if you rounded it off, it more or less is. WWE Monday Night Raw for August 29th, 2011 scored a 3.14 cable rating, and the live Super SmackDown the following Tuesday, August 30th, 2011 scored a 2.14 cable rating. We have a total of 10,291 total views on all our videos or channel, however you want to look at it. Again, that's youtube.com/CWE Company, where you can visit the very start of our show to where we are now. The male audience demographics are working again. I apologize for that. And in the last 24 hours, our male demographic accounts for 72% of our audience, while the female viewership accounts for 28% of the audience. And again, demographics and all of the following are updated every 24 hours. Our key demographic, which we always find strange, and I've argued that it's younger people on older people's IP addresses, but that might not be true. But the 45 to 54-year-old demographic accounts for 26% of our audience. The 35 to 44 male-female demographic accounts for 25% of the audience. 18 to 24 male-female demographic accounts for roughly 18%. 25 to 34 male-female demographic accounts for 17%. And finally, the 13 to 17-year-old male-female demographic accounts for roughly 15% of our audience. And as we stated earlier, top countries include the United States, where obviously we're going to be most common, 80% of our audience, and the United Kingdom at 20%. So shout out to our fans in the UK. Into your wrestling news and rumors, Jeff Hardy to make his return to TNA. His brother Matt right behind him, probably not. Jeff Hardy returns to the national spotlight tonight when TNA begins promoting his return to Impact Wrestling on next week's show, asking fans to give him another chance. This comes in the wake of Jeff's brother Matt having his worst public week ever, as he faces harsh criticism from many, including even former former apologists and his enablers for his fake suicide note stunt on YouTube earlier this week. And I wouldn't encourage our fans to view it, but if you want to check it out, youtube.com and keyword Matt Hardy. I'm sure at this point it's not hard to miss. It's probably one of his top rated videos. And just to get into that, a lot of his friends, Hurricane Helms and Jeff Hardy's wife, commented that it's not a joke. When the police are called at 10 p.m., the joke's over. Stop using the internet to get a push, more or less. And that's basically Matt Hardy's excuse. Is an excuse. It's this, it's that, it's never me. And I think now it's time to account for what Matt's done and go from there. 1 second, folks. But to kind of elaborate on it, because I don't really want to give it much publicity because it is a stunt. Everything this man does is a stunt. If Jeff Hardy can come back from it and be normal, then more power to him. But this should tell you something. Our next news bit: WWE superstars are asked to stop twittering certain things. Mainly, WWE talent have been instructed not to have contact publicly with Matt Hardy on Twitter. From a PR standpoint, there's no benefit and a big downside to WWE being linked to Hardy as he spins out of control and makes TMZ for the wrong reasons. Bill Goldberg rips on Vince McMahon, says return to wrestling isn't a done deal. Former WWE and WCW star Bill Goldberg had nothing positive to say about WWE CEO Vince McMahon in an interview with the local Fox affiliate in Tulsa, Oklahoma this week. Based on his comments, there appears to be no chance of a one-off return match in WWE. Quote, I can't really say anything positive about the man. It's like working for a carny. It's like working for a carny who's driven only by his ego. Business is out the window as evidenced by what he did with my character, so I don't have a positive thing to say about the guy. Goldberg told Fox 23 in Tulsa, which is where he grew up. Goldberg was in talks with WWE last year for a possible return match at this year's WrestleMania in his old stomping grounds in Atlanta. He expressed the same character-based concerns current TNA star Sting has expressed as why he did not sign with WWE for this year's Mania. Regarding last week's announcement that he would be returning to the ring in Africa next month for a one-off match, Goldberg says it's not a done deal yet, and he jumped the gun with the announcement. Quote, Budweiser made me do it, Goldberg said. Budweiser made me go out there and announce it prior to. I really should have announced it the proper way. I'm in negotiations right now to wrestle out of the country in a big humanitarian effort. It's an event in Africa, and we were invited by the president of Congo. Goldberg said he could do a WWE, quote, WWE thing if he wanted to, but he would rather have a more meaningful return match. Quote, the reality is I'm not doing anything just to get back in the ring. I could go to WWE and do that and wouldn't have to fly 36 hours to Africa, Goldberg said. Quote, but the reality is that if I do want to get back in one more time to let my son watch me do what I do, then it has to be involved with something much bigger. Am I going to be there 100%? No. Am I in negotiations? Absolutely. Kurt Angle also goes off on WWE. What is he upset about? Kurt Angle randomly went off on WWE Thursday for ranking him number 34 on their list of WWE's all-time greatest superstars, which is a list that came out in November of last year. The list was subject to ridicule when there appeared to be zero criteria put into the rankings. Kurt Angle, quote, "I was number 34 of WWE all-time greatest. Tell you what, take me off the list. I'd rather not be on it. If I wasn't top 5, who ranks wrestlers?" Angle posted on his Twitter page. Angle, on his way to MMA, TNA World Heavyweight Champion Kurt Angle, age 42, says he's not completely ruling out a transition to MMA and how he fares trying out for the 2012 Olympics could determine his future. Quote, "That remains to be seen. Depending on how good I do, I can't say no. Obviously, it's going to raise Dana White's eyebrows," Angle said on the Yahoo-affiliated MMA Weekly radio show this week, promoting the quote, the movie Warrior MMA-themed movie. Quote, "My goal is to make the team. Let's see what happens, and I'm not counting out Bellator either. They're going to be on Spike soon, and you never know what's going to happen with that company," said Angle. Angle also recalled being in contact with UFC President Dana White in 2009 when he was considering leaving TNA due to personal issues with Jeff Jarrett and his ex-wife, now Karen Jarrett. Angle claims his health wasn't the issue, rather not being able to work out the schedule for Angle's debut fight. Quote, "I contacted Dana White again after the movie in 2009. I was thinking about dropping out of Impact Wrestling, and there were some personal problems with my marriage and everything. I just wanted to get away, and I contacted Dana White. I flew out, and he had me take the UFC physical. I passed it, thank God, and he gave me the offer. The terms weren't good, not for me and not for him," Angle said. For the majority of the interview, Angle talked in depth about his acting aspirations. He said he's hopeful his recent roles in Dylan Dog and now in Warrior will open up the door for more important roles in future movies. 2 seconds, guys. Moving on. So basically, just to sum that up, he's passed the MMA physical. If MMA, it sounds like if MMA gives him a better offer and Dana White gets a better offer out of the deal, don't be surprised if you see him. If you don't, you don't. How he can consider Dylan Dog a success is beyond me, but Warrior hasn't come out yet. And to be quite honest with you, in the trailers, not that I'm not up on it, but in the trailers alone, he must not have that big of a role because you don't even see him in the trailers. But moving along, The Rock says he doesn't want to be WWE champion and gives a reason as to why he returned to WWE. The Rock says he does not want to be WWE champion again despite WWE advertising in advance Rock Cena for the WWE title at WrestleMania 28. Rock also explained why he returned to WWE in advance to WrestleMania 27, leading to WrestleMania 28 in a series of Twitter posts over the weekend. Quote, "A few years ago when Cena inexplicably started talking trash publicly, I knew then I could turn this into a massive main event. one that could elevate the WWE to unprecedented heights. The timing had to be right though. WrestleMania 27, quote, WrestleMania 27, for me and the fans, the time was right. The build to WrestleMania 28 will be like nothing the world has ever seen before. The match itself will be historic. Quote, I didn't come back to the WWE to become champion again. I came back for these reasons. Entertain the fans like no one else can. Elevate the WWE to heights never seen before. Challenge and mentor some of the younger talent. Give the millions what they want, which is to kick John Cena's effing ass. So he's not wrong there. There already is a good build. You already know what your main event's going to be. So we'll see what happens. It's obviously something Rock's very passionate about. WWE's psyched because they've got one of their all-time greats back. Even if they've got to kind of pick and choose where they do it. They almost overdid it with Rock's return prior to WrestleMania, but if he picks and chooses where he does it and how he does it, then no harm, no foul. As commented at the beginning of the show, Matt Hardy pulls PR suicide prank via his favorite outlet, YouTube. The Moore County Sheriff's Office confirms that Matt Hardy did not and is not planning to commit suicide. Michael Zaney, a reporter for the Fayetteville Observer, posted on Twitter, quote, the night shift captain said police received 25 to 30 phone calls to 911 to check on his well-being. The Fayetteville Observer newspaper is planning to write a story about this. And for our segment, and as I posted on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CWE Company, what do you think of we'll use Triple H's words, for the foreseeable future, the brand split kind of being tossed to the wayside? Now, we've spent several videos over the past year saying about how the first steps that you need to take were alleviating the brand split. So if this is Triple H's new role, then I welcome it. The only negative I see to it is that since Nash wasn't medically cleared, now let me explain that before it goes into better detail. He took the WWE physical, but with Kevin Nash, as we've seen over the last decade, the minute he didn't feel like putting CM Punk over. So all Kevin Nash has to do is get a note from a doctor, and he's out of the event. And you're stuck with Triple H versus CM Punk, which will be good to see Triple H come back, but we all know he's not rusty. But I am getting tired of Triple H being the top of every program, at the top of every start of every WWE televised program. But it's something different, but I don't think for what WWE is giving Kevin Nash, I don't think it merits a let's just let the guy hang out and collect the paycheck from us. They've released guys for less than that. Normally, if you don't perform, you're not kept on, well, some are kept on their star power, Stone Cold, Rock, stuff like that, but they contribute to the business and have a lot to say about the business even when they're not performing in it. Same as Bret Hart, you can argue that as much as you want, even though I don't think his return had as much of an impact as WWE may have hoped. There's people that are out of this business that still contribute to it. So, as far as the brand split goes, it's a good business move. It'll make for good TV. Let's just hope that they don't ruin it, and just because they're on one show, they try. I have a fear that they're going to, and I could be 100% wrong about this, that the brands are going to be together, but they're still going to try and differentiate the storylines between two shows. And then there's no point for the brand split. But if that's not the case at all, and all the storylines and all the wrestlers mingle, coexist in one company one brand, whatever adjective you want to use, WWE, then it'll be fine. Then if this is Triple H's first move, then it's a move in the right direction. But sorry for the brief and abrupt, but that's your wrestling news for the week. Until next time, guys, again, visit youtube.com/CWE Company and WrestleTalkShow.webs.com. I'm your host saying have a great night, and we'll see you again for Monday Night Raw or anything that comes up over the weekend. We'll probably throw up some bonus material for you. So again, check out youtube.com/CWE Company. Remember to like us and comment on each and every video. We look forward to your comments. We respond to your comments. I respond to them personally. Facebook.com/CWE Company. Post whatever you want. Thank you for everyone that follows us. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate the viewership. Keep it up, guys. Anything we can do to make this more interactive for you, let us know. And until next time, have a great night.